Namaste everyone, my name is Vaishali Shah. I welcome each one of you to my session on Hindu culture and lifestyle. As promised, today also we have another guest in this session, and with a very interesting topic. So before I start, let's do a prayer. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guru. Before we start our session, let me share something about the topic why I invited her. As you know, we are those who attend my session regularly every day. We are on this first book, Hindu Culture and Lifestyle, and the first level. In that, I've covered a topic on Indian jewelry. And as you know, that Indian jewelry is full of gold and diamonds. And of course, both that you ask any women and you ask anyone, they just love it. Even for me, I'm very keen to know how the piece is made, what is the history, what is what is the story behind every piece. And then I thought that I must find out something about diamond. Of course, we are going to cover gold as well in future. But today I know Rittika for some time, and then I thought of inviting her and find out that how we should buy diamonds and how we should possess, because there is a huge philosophy and there is huge knowledge which goes behind owning a diamond. And because she belongs to the same industry, she's part of the industry. I think it is her family business, and she has her own setup now in Belgium and even in Mumbai. So I think she's a perfect fit for today's conversation which we are going to have. Over to you, Rittika ji. Namaste. Kaise ho aap?
Namaste. Thank you for the lovely introduction. And I'm so glad I'm part of this. इसके पहले भी I've seen, मैंने देखा है आप क्या करते हो, आपका background, आपका interest culture में जो आजकल कम है, तो अच्छा है कि कोई लीड ले रहा है, कोई इंटरेस्ट ले रहा है और कोई इसको बढ़ा रहा है. सबको पूछने को जाओ तो कल्चर बात करने के लिए कम और एग्जीक्यूट करने के लिए ज्यादा होता है. तो जो शेयरिंग होती है और जो लर्निंग होती है थ्रू पर्सनल इंटरैक्शन, आई थिंक उससे ही कल्चर मेंटेन और सस्टेन होता है.
Exactly.
So I'm glad that this is being taken care of. और मैं ये भी कहना चाहती हूँ कि कल्चर पहले से तो बदल गया है.
A lot. Even you and me have changed, like complete. We have changed from our mother's time completely.
Yeah.
True.
I think ये भी normal है कि you accommodate to change. But it's nice to have somebody who can actually help in reinforcing or positively reinforcing where we come from and the roots that we share. So
True.
I think that's
At
why
least we should know, right?
Yeah,
Sorry.
and that's why Indians everywhere or Asians everywhere connect, because technically we do have a lot in common. Even though we have evolved, there's a lot in common, and there's a lot that we can still sustain from what we've learned from our ancestors or from our roots back home. So glad to be here. Glad to be here. I'm going to do a quick intro to what the plan for discussion is today.
Go ahead.
So diamonds in general aren't something which are new. हीरे तो माँ बाप से लेके ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स से लेके एकदम पुरुषों तक ये लोग बाय करते आए हैं. तो दैट वो जो हैबिट है और जो बिहेवियर है वो बिल्कुल सेम है, लेकिन इंफॉर्मेशन जो पास हुई है पहले से अब वो चेंजिंग है. And the main thing is that when the information is changing and the times are changing, it is very important that even the people get the information they require as a consumer. तो जैसे अब देखने को जाओगे तो काफी सारे दुकान है, काफी सारे दुकानदार है, काफी सारे ब्रांड्स है, काफी सारे रिटेल हाउसेज है जो खुद का इंफॉर्मेशन जानते हैं. लेकिन एज टाइम हैज चेंज्ड, यू नो, जब पहले कैसे आप अपने बाबू के पास से सब खरीदते थे, हर घर में एक जूलर आता था. अभी रिटेल हो गया है, तो आप खुद रिटेल में जाके खरीदते हो, तो दैट्स अ डिफरेंट स्टाइल ऑल टुगेदर, राइट? तो अगर वो सब देखने को जाओ तो आपके पास जो इन्फॉर्मेशन पहले घर पे आती थी थ्रू द ज्वेलर्स वुड कम होम एंड टॉक टू यू एंड इन्फॉर्म यू, अभी आप खुद बाहर जाते हो.
Exactly. True.
लेकिन बाहर जाने के बाद आपको बाहर जाने से इन्फॉर्मेशन बढ़ रही है कि कम हो रही है?
I think it is
दैट इज द
going
मेन
down.
क्वेश्चन.
Yeah. I think it is less.
तो एक्चुअली आपकी अवेयरनेस बढ़ रही है, आपका एक्सपोजर बढ़ रहा है, लेकिन आपको जो ट्रेड इन्फॉर्मेशन, जो बेसिक प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड इन्फॉर्मेशन, जो रॉ प्रोडक्ट का इन्फॉर्मेशन है बिफोर इट रीचेस द रिटेलर, वो सब इन्फॉर्मेशन काफी मिसिंग है. और it's a bit of a shame क्योंकि you know, nobody in the industry, even the big names, have taken out time to actually set a benchmark in being very clear, very transparent, or being leaders in information generation.
True.
Design generation, you will find a leader. You will find a leader in price, who's price penetrating the market. You'll find a leader who's probably innovating. Lekin you will not find anybody who's leading on the information side of the product. And I think जो information regularly आप use करते हो वो बहुत basic है. So the product that you're looking at right now is far more complex. The prices are far more steep, and the investment is far higher than usual.
But then my question about your investment thing is, people generally say that we don't get full value of diamond, right? So how do you consider diamond as an investment? Because once I buy whatever is the value, you know, maybe if I look at that piece and in resale market, I think it reduces by 50%. So do you think diamond can be or is a good investment possibility? ये बंद कर दो यहाँ से.
So that's a brilliant question. It's actually the most commonly asked question. I'm going to first go back to how this question I had tackled years back and what I would say now. When I initially started, I was actually running my own retail in Brussels. I was backed up by my parents who are also into diamonds, with a family business of diamonds, part manufacturing, part polishing. And with all that information, my own retail, and that's when I realized the difference in the information which you have when you're a manufacturer and you're at the B2B level, and the scarcity of information when you reach the consumer level. Okay, so that's where I got awareness. The second part is that I started doing workshops and educating people as well when I moved to Bombay and I got married there, and then I set up Rittika Karvat Diamond Solutions, which not only is a bespoke service but mainly also educates people in making choices worldwide. So sometimes you may be having
its choices about what kind of diamond one should buy, or about a trade, because here we are talking about jewelry, the thing which is very dear.
No, we're talking about purchase choices, because trade choices, you don't need to be educated. You need to be in the system. And then with time, you will understand how to be a good trader, right? So trading is more B2B. What I do is I use the information I know from B2B because I'm part of that, and I engage with B2C. Because that's where the
awareness is required.
So I'm like the Robin Hood of the diamond industry, where I'm like taking away all the very precious pearls of wisdom from the B2B side and giving it to the B2C side, because a lot of information is missing for a consumer to buy. And then that information can help them buy from anywhere, whether they are buying it from their source who's a babu, they're able to negotiate better with him. Whether they're buying from a retailer, they're making sure that they're getting good value for money from the retailer. Whether they're making it through somebody who's completely customizing it them, they're understanding what they want. Because what you want, you only know when you know what choices exist. And you only know what suits you. So going back to your question, being the first question, I would say that value for money in any purchase is not only the return you will get in case it's a returnable good. So unlike the gold industry, I don't think diamond is a liquid industry to begin with. So a
Okay.
lot of people who buy on the basis of, oh, I can return this whenever I want and I'll get the same price if I sell it. I think that's not the perspective in a diamond to begin with. So when
Right.
you start doing that, you're getting into a very bad relationship with whoever you bought it from, number one. Number two, neither are you buying it with the conscious understanding that diamonds are not liquid. So they're actually heritage more than liquid. So
Exactly.
people would buy them to pass them on, not to resell them, unless you're a trader. And since your question comes from a consumer's perspective, I strongly feel you should understand, which I'm going to tell you next. I think that is the whole guiding you through today, is to make you understand the steps that you need to know to be able to make a good decision as a consumer. So there are some questions you need to ask yourself before you make a purchase, and we call this the diamond buying checklist. So every person needs to have that checklist in place to be able to make a good decision individually. And
Okay.
from that checklist, 70% is common. Is the
I'm
30%
sure.
that will vary between person to person because of their preference and because of their type. And when I mean preference and type, preference means that you may be somebody who likes to buy big sizes, for example, and
Hmm.
you may be somebody who's more design oriented. So there are two different personalities. At the same time, what's your type? Your type is, how do you look? Like somebody may look like Deepika Padukone. She can carry off a 4 carat anywhere on her body. Like, that's possible. And somebody may look like a Rani Mukherjee, and maybe for her, carrying off a 4 carat may not be the best choice.
It
So for
becomes
you
too
to
much for
understand
a
what
shorter
type you need
people.
to know. Correct. So there are two parts of the same question. So, what I would suggest, instead of me targeting this question immediately, I'd rather target the question in bits so that people themselves understand in bits. So why don't we stick to the first question, which is about authenticity? Let's start with the root from the beginning. Is that okay with you?
No, yeah, that's fine. My question is, how, one when I go to buy any diamond jewelry, what is the thing which I would want to know first of all? Because nowadays
Yeah,
we know the market, we know the trades, we know the business,
correct.
but we have completely forgotten to understand the quality of the diamond, why I
Correct.
should own it, how I should own it, whether it works for me or not. So those
Okay.
questions I have to know. I mean, I have to know those
So let
answers
me
before
let me
I
just
go.
start with the diamond checklist. All of them will get
Yeah,
answered in that. So
quickly.
the
Yeah,
first
because
question in your diamond checklist when you go out buying is authenticity. So authenticity first means, what am I buying? Is it what I'm buying? So for example, I'm buying a diamond. How do I know it is a diamond? That's your first step in ensuring that nobody's cheating you. So that's your
exactly.
very first step. Okay. How do you identify that? Now, every diamond you purchase comes with a certificate, but not all certificates are internationally recognized. There's a little bit of a gap in there. So a lot of people have come with this certified, and like, let's just get it because it's certified. Yes, agreed. But is it internationally recognized? If your certificate is internationally recognized, it means if you're buying a G color in, say, India, and you're going on vacation to Miami, it'll still be a G color. It can't vary. But if you're buying a certification which is not internationally recognized, you can't have the certainty of that same color to be identified the same color in two different places, because there are differences in identification of color, clarity, cut
So there is no international
carat.
standard. There is no international
There
standard for it.
is. So if there is an international standard which is followed by three main international certifications and three
Okay.
main international gemological institutes. So one should stick to them just for the sake of security. So your first point is security. And
Right.
that would be starting in this hierarchy: GIA, HRD, and
Mhm.
IGI. I'm going to give the full form of each one. GIA is Gemological Institute of America. That is your top of the line, internationally renowned institute. You then have
Which is based
HRD.
out of New York. Is this the one?
It's international, but it's based out of America. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Then there's HRD, which is in Flemish, it's Hoogherat Diamant Antwerpen, which is also equally profound in its understanding of the product, and its gemological institutes are also equally renowned, and that's based in Belgium, which is the heart of diamonds. So that also is there now all over the world. So you can just look
Okay.
at the one which is closest to you. And the third one is IGI. IGI is International Gemological Institute. Now, what is the benefit of these three and how to identify them? Each diamond, which is a solitaire. Now, let's go back to what a solitaire is. A solitaire is anything above 40 cents. Instead of
Okay.
multiple pieces, you have one piece, which is 40 cents. And as it grows, that one piece growing, there's a multiplier effect in its value. When you put multiple pieces together, they don't make the same value as one big chunk. That is why it's called solitaire versus
Of course, yeah.
diamonds. Okay, that's the difference between the solitaire diamond versus just diamonds. Okay, now a solitaire diamond, which is 40 cents and up, all of them come with a passport. A passport is like a identity per diamond. Now, how do you identify that the solitaire that you're wearing and the certificate that they're giving you are the same? Another point of security. So your second check mark is when you actually you have to ask the jeweler, and you have the right as a consumer to ask the jeweler that, can I please have your magnifying lens so I can check. Now, how do you check when you buy an Hermes belt, or when you have like a Rolex watch? You check the
Obviously.
code, right?
Of course,
check
yeah.
the
If
code.
you ask for
The
magnifying
same
glass.
thing you do with not the regular magnifying glass. That regular magnifying glass is like a 10x. This will be
Right.
like a 30-40x.
Right, yes.
It's
yes,
really
yes.
tiny. And on the girdle of the diamond, there will be a little inscription. It has to match the certificate.
Okay,
If
this
it
is a very
matches the
interesting
certificate-
point, because while buying, people don't understand how to check in the piece, because while what you
Exactly.
check in the piece is something which is going to go with you. The piece of paper is not going to help.
Exactly. So someone might get, oh, it's certified, but how do you know the certificate even matches your piece, right?
Right.
So
yeah.
another point of security, very important point of security. So that's very important that you realize that the side where it's written and the certificate that you have, it's matching. So now when you've got these two tick marks, you've already got a very strong security of what you're buying, and it is pretty authentic, that particular piece that you're buying. Okay. And also what it means is that internationally, these characteristics will remain the same. So if you go to someone who's valuing the diamond somewhere else in the world, they can't give you an absurd value. They'll have to give you a similar value to what you buy. Okay, so those first 2 points are your security points. Your third point is going to be in your checklist, the cost per carat point. Okay, so here you have to understand that carat sizes and price are very relative.
Oh, yeah.
So for example, if you have a 90 cents diamond versus a 1 carat diamond, there's almost a 30% difference in price.
Yeah.
So say someone is selling you something. The first point is you have to first check, is it 90 cents what you're buying, or is it 1 carat? A lot of 90 cents diamonds can look very similar to 1 carat once they're set into a mold or into prongs. So you need to first check that first 2 points of tick marks, that is there a certificate, is it matching the stone? Okay, that means the stone is this, what they're talking about. Okay, with all that done, then you need to check if the price is relevant, or is it probably not something you want to invest in. That's your third point, which is your own personal budget. But before we get to the budget, let's understand how do we do this. So you have to know that 90 cents and 1 carat, because there's a 30 cents difference in price, right. You may always want to ask them that what is the lower boundary of price in this size. That's a question you can always ask at a retailer's store. And that's when they will tell you, okay, ma'am, this is 1 carat, but you can also try out a 90 cents, or you can try out an 80 cents and then compare the pricing. So you'll understand that, do you really need to get the 1 carat? Because it's only a 10-cent difference. Not even 10, it's actually a 9-cent difference. So between 90 to 99 is going to be your lower boundary. And the moment it hits 1, the price jumps. So a lot of my clientele, I tell them either you buy 90 cents or you buy 1.30. It doesn't make sense to buy in between because there's no value for money in that.
It's a very good tip. It's a very good tip, because then people don't understand this technicality of the size,
Exactly.
and then they end up paying more for almost
Yeah.
similar size. Yeah, it's a very
Exactly.
good tip.
And you
Yeah.
know what happens? You can also get a better color, a better clarity, maybe a round, which is a more expensive shape. We'll get to that. So all of those options are there once you understand a little better. So I think the workshops that we end up having, and all of these honestly have been through trial and error, because we've had people who've come to buy from us and realized that the whole process of buying was so nice that we made the process into a workshop, so that even if they don't buy from us, but they understand this, that knowledge can be used elsewhere. And
That
then
is the
eventually,
reason. Yes. You know what? I realize that jewelry is such a important part of our lives. And nowadays, in our generation, people don't understand, because you are in the business. You have got such a huge, knowledge. And another thing which I understood is in Indian setup. The way it is done. I think you have to also tell us that how the diamond is related to what kind of jewelry. Like you have North Indian style,
yes,
South Indian style.
I will
That
explain
also
that to you
I
as
will.
well. The
Yeah,
regional things. Okay. So
regional.
let's pace up with this first. So basically, we were talking about how these boundaries help you to judge what to buy and what size to buy. Okay. So
Right.
that's your first part of it, and that goes on. So you have like between, so a 1.4 to 1.49 is the same price. The moment it hits 1.5, it again jumps.
Wow.
So that way you have price boundaries. But see, the thing is, I think customer is king, and y'all need to understand that as consumers. If you go with this checklist with these questions, and we've had that, we've actually done this, fantasy shopper experience where we had somebody who was trained by us and went to the store, the same store where they were not happy with the information they got previously, but they could deduce much more information from the same person with that checklist. So,
True.
if nothing, I think today the checklist can really help people to just note these points and make sure wherever you go, the least you can do is make a difference to the information you extract. The decision you make is entirely yours, but at least your information is giving you a standardized perspective, and you can really compare and see where you want to invest. Okay, so from that point onwards, so that's one thing about size, how it jumps. You need to understand that cost per carat. Also, you need to
Right.
understand that your round shape is a very superior shape. It's perfectly symmetrical. That's
Okay.
always more expensive, and that has a separate price list. Vis-a-vis your fancy shapes, so your princess, your marquise, your emerald, your oval, your heart, all are called fancy shapes,
Okay.
or pair, or in the pair price list, so which means it's a fancy price list. They're always 15% minimum cheaper than the round of the same quality and color and size. So a lot of times, if you give that option to people, they can always take a cushion cut instead of taking a round and get a slightly bigger diamond.
So it which
So
looks like round shape. You mean that? Do you
the
mean that?
cushion is very similar to round shape,
Yeah,
but see, a
exactly.
lot of people, and now going to the regional idea and understanding of purchase, north region is very determined to have very big sizes, whereas the south region wants very small sizes but a perfect color, clarity, cut, and the carat that would fit and suit them the most. So comparatively, when I see a north client coming up, and I'll tell them that, instead of you going for an engagement ring which is a 90 cents round, why don't you go for a 1.3 carat but a cushion? So the price will be a very small difference versus a round 1.3.
Yeah, it's a very
Do you
good
understand
idea.
that? So for
Yes.
example, they would say, oh, I would never think of this, I would
Yeah.
think of only reducing my color and clarity so I can get a bigger size. See, eventually you're still buying a diamond. And I keep telling that to my north clients that, if you go below a particular point, it doesn't make sense to invest in a diamond at all.
Yeah, of
And
course.
also that also a natural diamond, knowing that right now you have the CVDs, you have the moissanites, you have so many other options for yourself, right?
Yes, yeah.
So the idea is that you need to have the information to make a very good and well directed decision, right? So moving to the idea which you asked me about the regional areas, see, a lot of differences also exist in the type, not only in the budget side of it, but also the type. So there are women who are from the south who want to buy 5 carat, but I'm like, look, it's going to look like a stone on you. It doesn't even suit you, so they have the budget for it, but then the guidance I would give them is, let's try and give you the higher colors and the higher clarities, and a slightly smaller size, and maybe you can do something else with that remaining budget than getting something that doesn't suit you. So we had this entire workshop which we've designed now in 2020. Unfortunately, we couldn't actually go ahead. We had this entire format which was going to be for all the women's clubs in Mumbai, where we meet them and we make them understand their type. So we've actually categorized 4 to 5 types, it becomes very easy for people to identify what would suit them. So they can just go to the store and look at their type. So that what we mean by type is there are two main areas where you carry your solitaires. One is your ears and one is your fingers. So now there are 4 different types of fingers that people have. Can you put your palm on the screen, please? Yeah. All right. And you turn it around. Yeah. And back this way. Yeah. So can you see that you have a rectangle shaped palm and you have cone like fingers? So you are a type. All right. And now look at my palm. Mine is square shaped.
Yeah,
it's a square shaped palm, and my fingers are shorter than my palm. Your fingers are longer than your palm, right?
Yeah.
These are 2 different types between the 2 of us only.
Yeah, exactly.
So what happens, for example, is we have made categories of size. So what I would suggest and guide to people when they're going to buy is it's not only important to go by cost per carat, but you need to go by your type and then choose your carat. So for example, somebody like you can carry anything between 1.3 carat all the way to 3.5 carat.
Okay, which I do. Yeah, I do.
Correct. Whereas someone with my type should not go above 1.5 carat.
Okay, maybe. Okay, this is very interesting.
In fact, they should stay below the boundary of 1.3 carat so that it actually suits the finger. So that's the first part of what you purchase, your solitaire. Okay. Now you have 2 types of people. One person who's a solitaire-centric classic person who wants to just get a solitaire and get a band around it. Then you have design-oriented people who want to have a design to go with it.
Right. I want a history.
So for example, I'll give you an example.
I really.
So carry on here. Tell me, what did you buy?
Yeah, I said when I buy, I want a history. I want a story. I want to know the workmanship. Yeah. I want to know the whole legacy behind it, because I like to buy royal jewelry, and that is my, always my primary interest. So whenever I buy few things, but I buy good, as in those kind of qualities, the workmanship and all. I make an effort to go to Rajasthan, and whenever I come to India, I do that. I make those kind of efforts to own some good pieces. So I think that I feel it is right way. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me what should be the way.
See, everything is right. I always tell my clients that, because when they come to me, they have so many regrets of what they've bought in the past and what they've done before, because there was no logic to it, right?
Exactly.
So they come and meet us and we actually put logic and we make them understand what they should be doing and how they can plan ahead. We also do things like we take back all the gold that they have from 3-4 pieces that they bought randomly and make it into 2 pieces that really suit them, which can add to their wardrobe. So recently we had this tie up with somebody who was doing styling for wardrobes, and we called it the carrot closet, because everybody has a carrot closet, but nobody has something which is perfectly suiting them.
Right.
It's an accumulation of random choices you've made.
Exactly. That is everybody's case.
And also
sorry.
Also during the lockdown, it so became prominent because, in the lockdown, you're not wearing half your jewelry. And that's when you realize that had I made 3 pieces, which were really what I would wear every day and different and that would suit me, that'd be so much more relevant than the 10 pieces I have, but you barely wear them then, right?
Very interesting.
So I'm going to give you an example of.
You have still quite a few questions answered, right? I shot up all the questions together because I never wanted to disturb your flow unless I have a question.
Do you want to ask me a question before we proceed? Yes, you can do that.
No, I think go ahead. I guess I've already asked you.
I'm going to just show you this one thing, okay, right now. Yeah. It's a very quick thing. And then what you can do is probably you can shoot up a question which we probably not touched upon or elaborate on that. That's fine.
Sure.
Okay, so you see this ring, for example. I'm going to do a little bit of a close-up.
Yeah.
You can see the ring, okay? Can you see the ring?
Right.
Yeah. Now you see the ring over here. It's got a spacing.
Yeah.
So your center solitaire is where it is. But had I got a line of diamonds or a design right next to it, it would have become protruding and chunky. So for my kind of fingers, I'm supposed to have spacing in my design.
Oh.
So what happens is, Yeah, so that's what I mean to say. So each type we actually give you information of how to
Oh,
customize
super.
your jewelry, because it's so important that, for example, if uh, your finger below your knuckles is thicker and your finger towards your top is thinner,
Hmm.
correct, in that case you need to make sure your design is spread out. It's always a
Yeah.
spread out design, and at the same time you can try and do some spacing very close to the area where the knuckles and the bottom is touching. So maybe leave a little line in between the two, so it's open. So when you put your finger out, you can't see that anymore. It becomes one. So the ring is actually helping to make your finger look perfect. So the ring is suiting you rather than you suiting, you trying to fit into a ring which you've seen somewhere.
True, it happens. I've seen it.
The same with the fingers that are shorter. You have to put spacing so that more of your finger is seen. So even if you have a bigger size you're carrying, it is manageable to carry that bigger size. So
Okay.
same way like that, you have for the people who have got a rectangular palm and long fingers, and for a square palm and long fingers. So you've got that same combination with those types, where we, for example, tell you that okay, protruding design is important for the longer fingers, etc., etc. So you have these different combinations that we have designed just so that when people go also to see, they can actually tell, because what we've done sometimes is someone's come in with a design they've seen somewhere, and we've redone the design that suits their finger, and
Yes.
then they've liked it even more because the usability is higher. And there are three things you have to always answer when you're doing this. One is, how often are you planning to use it? Okay, so your frequency of use is also part of value for money. So how frequent are you going to use it? Second, how much does it suit your finger? And third, how much is it fitting your occasion? There are many people who are having maybe a big event where they're going to use that jewelry or going to gift that jewelry. It's very important that your jewelry also reflects the occasion.
Which doesn't happen in many, many cases. I'm sure 70% of the people, what they
But
wear
why
is
is it?
not
Why
as
is
per
it? Can I
the.
ask you the question? Why does
Yeah.
that happen? That doesn't happen. Can you answer that? Why?
Yeah, because they don't have the knowledge, because they don't
But
understand what
why?
works on them,
Let's go a little further. But why?
because they don't take time out like me. They
But
don't
why?
make an effort. They don't make an
So
effort.
because this entire, so when you buy your clothes, I don't think people buy clothes more than 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 4 lakh, 5 lakh maximum. Okay, but people buy jewelry worth lakhs. So 25 lakhs, 50 lakhs is your jewelry. And the
Easily.
funny thing is, for your clothes, you'll go for 10 trials. You'll actually go and research before. And for jewelry, you'll do no planning. So before your big day, your planning is zero. And when the big day pops up, there's no time.
True.
So that's the
People
big
don't make an
hitch.
effort, because this is my
Correct.
favorite subject. There's a reason I got you, and that's the reason I was asking you that let's discuss this whole concept of diamond and especially jewelry. And another thing which I wanted to ask you was, there is a concept of किसी को diamond suit नहीं होता है. People say कि we should try, we should keep it below the pillow and keep it for a day or two and see whether it is okay or not. What do you think about those things?
So honestly, there's a concept about that for every field. Like there's a concept about you should not wear this color, or there's a concept
No, no,
about,
no. This is specifically about diamonds quality.
I know, but I'm
Yeah.
saying it comes from the idea of whether you want to believe it. It's part of your belief system or not.
Yeah,
So
but there is a logic behind it, you mean?
diamonds are supposed to be the best composition for purity. So it's the most pure element. So technically, when you look at a diamond, or when you're actually dealing with a diamond, or when you're wearing a diamond, it's supposed to be the most positive, because whatever you say, it will resonate, because it's so pure. If you see how a
True.
diamond is made, you'll come to know it's actually like a house of mirrors.
True.
So when the light goes in, it refracts on all the mirrors and then comes out. But what are you putting in is what's going to come out. So
True.
technically, it's really your own perspective, and I wouldn't push anybody if they have that kind of a legacy in their family. They shouldn't indulge in diamonds. But otherwise, I don't think it's to do with diamonds. It's to do more with belief systems. So
Okay, good. And what about tell me some, like, I'm sure you must be knowing where are the diamond mines in India and how many percentage diamonds are. Of course, 80-90% of the diamonds are cut in Surat, which I'm like it's a known fact worldwide. But what do
Yeah.
you think about where the diamonds are coming from? Of course, Africa is one
So,
of the sources.
so
Within
it's
India,
really
where are the mines?
funny. It's really funny that around more than 90% now of diamonds are actually manufactured in India. More than
Manufactured.
90% are manufactured in India, which means the cutting, polishing, everything happens in India, which means it's actually a great economy boost for us if we realize it. With the whole CVD thing coming in, I think that's one of the biggest debates we had, that why doesn't India also want to manufacture CVDs? Because technically, if we are the main hub for manufacturing for natural diamonds, we can also be the same for CVDs, right?
What is CVD?
So CVD is actually a culture or a man-made diamond. It's the same composition and the same elements that go in it. The difference is it's going to be abundant. It's not going to be scarce. That's the only main difference you have between a natural diamond versus a CVD. So, for example, if I tell you that I am, recreating a luxury brand, like I'm doing an LV bag or something, and I'm going to be able to make it the same way that they make it in the LV factory. The difference is that I'm not going to make it with that kind of it's not going to be something which is scarce. It's going to be something which is abundant. So immediately your price is going to be affected because it's something which is abundant. It's easily
Yeah, it's
available.
going to work on. I mean, internationally, I'm sure
But the
everywhere.
best thing is, I always tell people this, that for people who aspired to buy diamonds, they really should understand and enjoy this choice, because a lot of people could never buy diamonds. It's always been a very, very steep beginning point. So
True.
it's very nice if there's going to be something like a CVD. People who aspire to buy a real one can start with a CVD. Why not? So I think there's nothing wrong with CVDs. I also think a
Okay.
lot of it is a personal choice. See, when you're really when they started branding diamonds, it was all about you know rarity. Like real is rare. That okay, I want to show my emotions towards somebody by giving them something so rare that they realize how much they mean to me. For example, now that started that way, and today also the people who really want to uh, express in the same fashion, where they really want to show that okay, I want to get something which is unique, then they are still going with a natural diamond. But the people who always had a personal choice that, oh, it's really expensive, do I have to go for this only, I think all of those people can go and shift to the CVD. So I think it's a
Makes
very
sense.
parallel market. There's nothing wrong with its existence. And I think it's a very good nemesis for diamonds being the Cupid. Because
Okay.
sometimes you need that nemesis to reinforce your uniqueness. So I would never see it negatively. I mean, there was a big hype in the industry that with the CVDs, how will the real diamonds move? And I said it doesn't really matter, because the ones who want to buy the real thing are still going to be there to buy the real thing. And the
True.
Indian, how you said very clearly, it's in our lineage to buy diamonds. It's like
Exactly.
it's a very successive behavior that keeps increasing with time, not decreasing with time. So I
It
don't
has
think
not
that that's going to
decreased
be an
for
issue at
sure.
all.
True.
Yeah.
And certain companies which are dealing into diamonds, they've made it like, it's kind of a compulsory thing to give a diamond ring, or to give, the way they advertise, especially De Beers and big companies, big American companies, they changed the whole traditions. Because they wanted diamonds to be part of
So
their
De Beers, they
everything.
have, they have, they have. I agree. And De Beers is also, one of the people probably who started that whole proposal, that let's propose to the diamond. And that's why the 1 carat became so famous, because
True.
1 carat is a benchmark to begin with. So today, now when I'm trying to make someone unlearn and say you can still buy a 90 cents also, they're like, 90 cents, how will it sound? And I'm like, it's okay, it doesn't have to be like a advertisement. You can just buy something that suits you. So a lot of norms have been built over time by a lot of miners, a lot of people who were landmarks in the industry and still are today. Like De Beers also does CVDs. They've got their own system called their own innovation called the light box, where they also
Oh,
now do CVDs as well as they do their natural diamonds. And I think they're great because they're always thought leaders in the industry, and I think that's what matters more than what product you're selling.
okay. So, what is your last thought and last say to all our ladies when they go out and buy one thing, one more thing, one blanket thing, or one major
Okay,
point which we,
a
yeah,
uniform
I think we are on a closing.
understanding. So I
Yeah.
would say that, ladies, please get empowered first before you make these decisions for yourself. And I also think that part of that empowerment is about when you're going to a store, the purpose of going to the store is not getting a discount. The purpose of going to a store is getting a good quality at a good price. What eventually happens is, because of this entire price war of getting a better price everywhere, eventually you're not able to focus on the quality that you've retained in that price. So I would say to everyone that a low quality at a low price is a good deal only for the seller, not for the buyer.
Not for the buyer.
You need to ensure that you get a good quality at a good price, and that's way more important. And I think when you actually put the points together and have a holistic understanding of things, you will be able to compare and assess it better.
That's very interesting. I think it's a perfect closing remark for this session, and I'm really happy to have you. I'm sure my audience would learn something different about, about the whole diamond jewelry, how they should be bought, what all points they should remember, and I think very aptly have put up about the carat size, what kind of size and the shape, how the price would differ in round and in any other color, in other size. So I think it's a lovely session with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, those who have joined us a bit later, please note that this interview will remain here on this timeline forever. You can view it anytime you want to see it. And again, for tomorrow, day after, 2 days, there won't be any session at 8 o'clock because I'm committed somewhere else. And we'll see you on Monday with another very interesting session with somebody, which I'll keep you informed. Thank you so much, Rittika. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.